Greetings. Welcome to the world according to Chris. I'm Christopher Timms, and I'm privileged to be able to be your guide as we walk through the most important issues of our day. We live at a time when all of the systems of our world are in crisis. Environmental systems, political systems, religious systems, technological systems, everything is at the brink of collapsing. And most people have one viewpoint through which they feel they're getting the information they want to get in order to just exist. And for many people, that's just enough that they can ignore most things that are happening around them and just focus myopically on their little world. What they have to do to concern themselves with their retirement, their investments, their lives. And it's time to think bigger than that. It's time to wake up and smell the toast that is burning. The world is changing beneath our feet. And there are so many different viewpoints of information that you're getting that it's impossible for most people to be able to glean any kind of clarity, any kind of perspective on what's actually happening. That's why most are reduced to one viewpoint that they just take as being accurate, factual, the truth. I'll contend that there is no such thing as an accurate or an objective report of an event or a situation. That by the nature of reporting or witnessing something, you're seeing through the lens of your own perceptions. And therefore, those interpretations are not going to be objective. They're going to be completely personal and subjective according to the reporter, even when the reporter is doing the best job that he or she can do. We know that the act of observing changes that which we are observing. Quantum Mechanics 101. So not only are we subjective as we view an event, we're also involving ourselves as a witness in an event that actually adjusts the mix, meddling, you could say. So basically, we're all blind men and women trying to describe an elephant. None of us have a big enough picture to see the whole idea, the whole scene that's unfolding beneath our feet. So this will be a completely subjective, totally opinionated, politically incorrect commentary on the nature of life with every episode. Of that, I will assure you. I love all my Chris opinions. You can just ask me. I'm more than happy to tell you. I'm just not attached to them being right. I know that the sources of information that I glean from and put together my picture puzzle while I'm viewing the world are from a variety of different sources. Alternative and conventional, left and right, scientific, religious, historical. All these different sources of information are like pieces of a big picture that come together. And the picture seems to readjust itself as time goes on. So it's a living picture. So first, there is no such thing as objectivity. I believe that's incorrect. So when any of the stations tell you that they're fair and accurate, that they're telling you the truth, they may not be purposely misleading you. Some are purposely, but most are just honestly, collectively in a view. Certain broadcast stations, certain newspapers, magazines, they all have a collective view, and the employees, the reporters, the editors will funnel information through a particular refraction or a perspective. It's just the way it goes. Sometimes it's even manipulated by the people who control and own the magazines, newspapers, broadcast networks. Regardless of who's in control, who's owning, we have to realize that subjectivity is the nature of our experience here in the realms of duality, the realms of you and I. So let's take one issue. The issue that we'll explore for a few minutes today is environmentalism, the green movement, global climate change. It used to be called global warming, but you can't really call it global warming anymore because some places are colder than they used to be, some places are warmer than they used to be. Is this a man-made event? Are we responsible for all this that's happening in its entirety? Are we contributing in some way? What's accurate information? Well, from my perspective, I look at scientific information from what NASA tells us. I look at geological information. I look at historical information as to what the climate was like according to historical records from hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And when you look at the records, the history and the stories, then you find that there are geological cycles that are part of the natural evolution and progression of our planet. There are times when the Earth in its entirety has been covered with over a mile of ice. There are times when the poles were in slightly different placements, the magnetic poles, than where they are right now. So there's been great climatic changes, great environmental condition changes all over the world throughout the ages. Now, that being said, so yes, there is a natural flow and cycle at work here. The other big issue is environmentalism. We have been terrible stewards of the planet. Terrible stewards of the planet. And I believe and will contend that we knowingly and without any regard for consequences have contaminated our environment to the brink of collapse and disaster. And that the scientists, the forces in control knew exactly what they were doing as they were using pesticides, using different chemicals in the soil, and began to ruin the delicate balance and equilibrium in our environment. Have we contributed with all of our reckless trashing of water, air, raw materials, our gluttony, basically? Yes. In the months ahead, we'll be discussing a number of different solutions, but I want to offer one that really no one really wants to hear about at all, but I think it's fundamental. There should be no more subsidies at all for the meat industry, the poultry industry, or the pork industry. Stop it all. People don't understand that it takes 2,000 gallons of water to raise 1 pound of beef, that it takes 60 pounds of grain to raise 1 pound of beef. They don't realize the environmental destruction to the land and to the waters and to the air that commercial cattle, poultry, pork, all of it is doing. And it's unnecessary. It's a waste of energy. It's a waste of energy in the net result. So stop it, let people pay, and then you watch how many people will stop eating all of these products and find out how healthy they can really be on a plant-based, environmentally sound diet. I've been vegetarian for over 30 years now. I've been a competitive athlete all of my life. Work out 5-6 days a week. And the environmental impact on the environment from a vegetarian diet is minimal, So it's just one thing I'd like you to consider is the idea that even if the subsidies don't stop, maybe you can reduce or just stop eating meat. You don't need it. Absolutely, you do not need it. And I will guarantee you that you'll be healthier, clearer minded, and virtually eliminate the propensity to contract, to take on a degenerative disease of any kind. So you will live long and prosper. So that's the beginning of the world according to Chris. Thanks for taking the time to be here. I look forward to hearing your input, and I'll be talking with you soon. Take care.